What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat and just, my opinion as a Heat fan and as a, sports YouTuber about what's happening down in Miami. So, yeah, like the video if you enjoyed this content. Subscribe to my channel, please. I post daily sports content, and it would mean a ton to me. Yeah, that's about it. Let's talk about the NBA. Oh, yeah, and comment down in the video below, y'all. Just your thoughts, opinions, constructive criticism, all that good stuff, anything that can make the videos better for you. Just let me know. Let's talk about it. Miami Heat 7-14, not very good right now. No excuses, but we do need to discuss some of the early season struggles at this point. So Jimmy Butler, he was injured, and then due to COVID protocols, he was out for a long time. After getting back, he lost around 20 to 30 pounds, I believe, due to COVID. So it's not something that just, he just lightly got over. No, he struggled with this, that is for sure. Tyler Hero has also been out at various times. He had a neck injury. He was on COVID list before, I believe. He may be on COVID list again, possibly. Unknown at current times if he will have to go back on. Avery Bradley, who was a huge pickup by the Miami Heat, in my opinion, this offseason, was also on COVID list. Goran Dragic has been injured or on COVID list. Sometimes, they've had to start Gabe Vincent at point guard, which no offense to Gabe Vincent, obviously, but he's not exactly a starting caliber NBA point guard. They had to start Chris Sylvia at one point against Joel Embiid. That went about as well as you'd think it would go. So no excuses, obviously, but the Miami Heat have had issues. However, the past two games against the Hornets and the Wizards, they both had, late collapses at the end in the fourth quarter and in overtime for the Hornets game. So what's the issue with this Heat team? Their shots aren't falling right now. Their shots aren't falling right now, and their opponents are. That's basically about it so far. Kelly Olynyk tonight went 2 for 8. If he hits just one more three, the Heat win that game, or at least tie it. Actually, if he hits 2 threes, they win. He's not been shooting as well as he has been. Tyler Hero, as a matter of fact, has not been shooting as well as he has been. Now, granted, he's in a larger role, so that was, somewhat expected, I guess. But at the same time, it is somewhat disappointing for a player that, had so much hype going into him at the end of, last finals run. Bam Adebayo has been, probably the only positive spot on this team so far, besides maybe Precious. Bam has been just going off right now, quite frankly. He's been much more aggressive with Jimmy Butler out, and you can see a lot in his stat line. So, now to the fun part. There are two topics we get to talk about here. 2021, the big year. We're in 2021. 2021 offseason and trades. We'll start off with trades. In my opinion, if the Heat need to make a trade, they need to make a trade for someone with a contract that expires at the end of this year. I'll explain that more later. And for a power forward, right? Kelly Olynyk's not going to cut it, okay? Myles Leonard is out for the rest of the season, and honestly, he wasn't going to cut it either. All right, I love Myles Leonard, but he wasn't going to do it. Precious Achiuwa would be nice, but until him or Bam develops a three-point shot that's somewhat realistic, that's somewhat unrealistic, right? So, now, this brings up the issue of what starting power forward do they need? Like, what do they need in a starting power forward? There are several things. I personally believe that they need rebounding, defense, and shooting. Right? They don't need playmaking. They get that enough. They've got enough playmaking. They've got enough, just playmaking in general. They've got enough scoring, quite honestly, too. They need floor spacing, they need defense, and they need rebounding. If I had to prioritize it, I'd probably prioritize floor spacing and rebounding over defense. So who does that bring us to for the list of possible trade candidates? There are several guys, some are realistic, some are unrealistic. I feel like all of these guys, a trade could be made. I mean, if you told me at the start of last season that Andre Iguodala would be on the Heat at the end of the, season and they would be making a finals run, I would call you crazy, right? So while some of these may be unrealistic, just keep in mind that, nothing is too crazy. So first off, PJ Tucker. I feel like this is the pretty popular one. It makes a lot of sense, quite honestly. PJ Tucker is very good at shooting, at least from the corner. He's pretty good at defending, too. He would fill a Jay Crowder role almost. That's what they need, really, is they need another Jay Crowder role to fill, okay? They need another Jay Crowder guy that can just fill that role. Because Kelly Olynyk can sometimes shoot, he can sometimes rebound, but he cannot defend. Kelly Olynyk is awful at defense, okay? So to fix that, they need to get a defender. I feel like PJ Tucker is probably the best option, and quite honestly, probably the most realistic one too. Another guy that I've thought about a little bit is Thaddeus Young of the Chicago Bulls. His contract's pretty big, though. I'm fairly sure it goes into the next season, so that is an issue that would have to be looked at, especially with what I'm going to talk about part 2. But Thaddeus Young could be an option there. He shoots decently, he rebounds decently, he defends decently. He's pretty good at everything. So Thaddeus Young could be in the mix, in my opinion, at least. And the last guy is LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge, he's not what he used to be. And that's good in some sense. He's able to shoot more reliably from the three-point line. But he is, 36? He is aging very dramatically. I want to say dude's 36. Oh, my Lord. Anyways, he has a very big contract, and I have a hard time seeing the Heat taking that on. So, realistically, out of all of these trades, I see PJ Tucker being the most likely one, followed by Thaddeus Young, and then LaMarcus Aldridge. So now the fun part, 2021, hope for the future. Why 2021? What's important about that? Giannis isn't there anymore. That's disappointing. LeBron isn't there anymore. AD signed an extension. What's important about 2021? Well, there's a man that Heat fans are probably well familiar with. That man is Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard going to Miami sounds crazy on the surface, right? But I think that'd be an amazing duo right there, or just team in general. Reasons for this. Kawhi Leonard is just amazing. He is amazing at defense, amazing at offense. I really like Kawhi Leonard. I'm sure most of y'all know that at this point. But I really like Kawhi Leonard, okay? And while he is not a vocal leader, he is on the court leader, okay? He is one of the best players, top 3, in my opinion, in the NBA. Okay? After the collapse last season with the Clippers in the playoffs, it is very easy to look at that team and say, does he really want to go back there? Does he really want to return to the Clippers? Because I can look at him, and I've seen all of his, non-committal stuff about re-signing with them, and I'm seeing, he doesn't want to go back, right? So that's, one thing. Now, in terms of fit in Miami, it's pretty perfect, honestly, in my opinion. Goran Dragic, he would most likely he would have to be let go, unfortunately, or renegotiating a contract. But then you could potentially run out Tyler Hero at point guard, Duncan Robinson at shooting guard, Jimmy Butler at small forward, Kawhi Leonard at power forward, Bam at center. That's an amazing defensive lineup right there. And obviously, I'm not a huge lineups guy. I prefer to leave that to the professionals. But I feel like that would work fairly well. So that's about lineups. In terms of the locker room, I'm assuming Haslam will be retired by that point. I mean, I don't know. I think he will be. But I thought he'd be retired for 3 seasons now. So, in terms of the locker room, I think we can all admit that Jimmy Butler is the leader in there, right? You look at that guy, and you look at, the effect he's had, you can see that he's the leader, right? Which is good, because Kawhi Leonard, he's not really a leader, quite honestly. On every team, he's, been, not the leader. The Raptors, he had Kyle Lowry. On the Spurs, he would have had Tim Duncan, right? He didn't really have, that leader type on the Clippers, and that could potentially be a reason why they failed, along with just straight up, failure, right? Along with just straight up being outplayed. So I feel like that would work. Jimmy Butler is going to come in and he's going to work and work and work, right? He's going to trash talk you too, most likely. As for Kawhi Leonard, we barely know anything about this man. I just like to put that out there. But I feel like Kawhi Leonard will come in there and he will work too. But he's not going to trash talk you, right? He's not like one of those guys that will trash talk or anything like that. No, he's just going to let his play and his work speak for himself. And I really haven't seen any articles about him, being a, quote, bad teammate. I haven't seen anything about him, just not putting in the work. I feel like him and Jimmy Butler could become best friends, quite honestly. Because Kawhi is going to work hard, and Jimmy works hard, and I feel like it's just a match made in heaven, quite honestly. So, that's about it, honestly. I feel like this is a very good matchup in terms of just on the court. The locker room we'd have to see, but I feel like it'd have the potential to work. Pat Riley told Jimmy Butler when he signed him that they were going to bring in other whales And seeing as how Giannis is off the table, I feel like Kawhi Leonard is that guy. I feel like he fits Miami fairly well, and I'd be really happy to see that happen as a Miami Heat fan. So y'all subscribe to the channel, post daily, like the video. That helped me out a ton. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this trade, constructive criticism, any of that good stuff. Y'all have an amazing day. I love y'all. See y'all around.